Hello. I'm dialed out. I really am. I'm. I don't know if you could call this surviving. Uh, I What I mean by that is I lost focus into the session, and it was just hard to look at. I also got up late. This is a breakout trade off of Inside Prince, 37 and 15. I'm not even gonna say. You can just see it. 37 and 15 Inside Print sell side, and they rally it. I take two, three more trades off of that. And then tape dries up this time. Then I get out, though I shouldn't have gotten out because it's low of day. It's been defended before. They're piling in 35, but sellers effectively get absorbed. Sellers get absorbed at 47.50, and then we proceed to rally in the opposite direction. There's big, big absorption again. I flipped short on the break of Inside Prince at 47. Um, Nothing wants to move. There's no liquidity down there. If there was, tape would explode. So I tried to play the breakout over and over again, irrespective of order flow. So I was just projecting my thoughts onto the market and paid for it. 52.10. I see this is a buy pressure, and then I scratch. I'm not I'm not paying attention to the back ticking here, the profile positioning, and perhaps I should. That's the same breakout trade at low of day, which typically pays off. I mark it down as the third time it's happened to me. I think I'm watching the queue here. 30 holds at 48, and then they stack 21. The bid queue begins to empty here, and then a little more trades on Inside Prince. I get long here this time, knowing that there's no liquidity down there and they're defending the floor over and over again, which is a good trade. And then I get short at that same area, probably for no reason. I told you I was out of it this morning. What that means is I was just. What that means is I wasn't as focused as I should have been. My mind was kind of all over the place. So now we're at VPOC and I'm sitting on my hands. If I placed a trade there, I would have been so angry. That long is alright. I'm not saying I really agree with it, but then I took a short at the low side of the distribution. And it near immediately went against me. And then the Q pulls sell side, which is why I actually hold my trade because the Q pulled. I wish I could show you what I'm referencing. If there were strong buyers, I would have gotten out. But because the Q pulls, that just means Um, sellers are sellers are liquidity hunting is what I guess. Is what I think. And so the odds that it comes back is snaps back is higher, which it did. But then it bottoms out at 48.25. Notice how it doesn't. Oh, it does fill me at 48. We're just running up the standard distribution here. It looks like we're going back to VPOC. VPOC thickens out. Uh, this is a breakout trade. There's no liquidity on the downside, but there is on the upside. You can tell because of the tape. I actually made the majority of my money back on these unidirectional trades. People getting liquidated. It explodes. I think I stack again here. And then I get chopped up trading a rounding distribution. If I can find it. I pull the order. I thought I got filled there. I didn't. Okay, I get blown out here. Right. And then I flip short. I get blown out again. We're going to watch the whole 60 at 55.25 if the queue empties. I want to get out. So they're sitting on the ask now. I say good. They stack behind 60s, but then 60 starts to empty at weakness. It goes from 60 to 46, and then 51 trades, and the bid refills, but there's already present sell pressure there. So that was a good scratch. And then I flip short here on the sell pressure, or I attempt to anyways. And then buyers step in, 50 at 55.50 on the inside prints. And I'm of course watching the queue. Buyers dry up, and then they don't. 34 trades. Um, I think I realized I was wrong. Was that 51 there? If that 51 was there and I scratched, it was a great trade. Yeah, okay. So it jumped to 37. Okay, so it jumped to 37. Uh, and we're at the high of day now. So it looks like inside prints are getting ran again. The tape's going to spam with market orders. So the best thing I can do right now is not to take the 3 tick loss, but to take a 1 tick loss instead. Queue priority, or what's on the queue on the bid, matters sort of, but not as much as where we are relative to where we previously were. We're at the highs. We built out a distribution between 55 and 55.75. We didn't break lower, so that's evidently bullish from a contextual perspective. The odds that it blows me out here for 3 ticks is high, regardless of a queue positioning, and so I get out. My rationale here was if I know I'm wrong, or if I believe I'm wrong, and I've taken 3 tick losses on this trade before, it may not be a profit, but if I can make improvements by taking a 1 tick loss instead, eventually I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna be a profitable trader. That's exactly what happened. Not really because of the queue positioning, but because of the context, I think. Notice how the tape explodes again, and I think I take 2 trades here. Yeah, one I spam right there, just on momentum trades, and then I take another, and they don't fill me. Notice how it's so aggressive, not even the inside prints fill on the Q, on the ask at 57.25. And I'm trying to catch it here. We touched down to 57.25, so that makes me think maybe we're forming a different distribution, but then we immediately fill up on the bid side. 30 and then 63 trades, which scares me off a bit, but we fill anyways. And so that was two momentum trades, four ticks, which is probably why I got out with negative $75 instead of like 150 or something. Okay, so we uptick and then we sit on the ask down to 58, which is bearish. The ask flickering, I don't know if I should say this, the bid ask, because I don't use it and I know I should. The bid ask flickering back and forth is consensus between both the inside prints, that is the active participant, and the bid ask queue. So it's limit orders and market orders coming to a consensus. So you see, it flickering up and down, and then it doesn't stick, and then it sticks on the lower prices before a seller steps in, and they move it two ticks lower. Then it trades. I want to see if the Q pulls, and then they thicken up at 57.25. So if they hold 57.50, I think we're going back, and that would correlate with this. But if this sticks, we're probably going lower. See how it's stuck, and then the Q empties. Now we have to get through 50. 50 pulls, even on. I don't know if those were. No, they weren't. 50 just pulls, period. And then it's a slow walk down from sellers on the inside print. They're right there again, meaning they're willing to pay for lower prices. So they're aggressively selling off of the high of day. Typically, last day this happened, it went back to VPOC. And then here, I'm trying to play Q plunge. Not even, I'm kind of zoned out here. I'm not even thinking about this, even though I should be. I just see a 94 and a 140, 149. I think it's a spoof or a large order, and I lose money here. Personally, I think it's a spoof, but for the most part this week, the large orders in the market have been real. I just want to see how it plays out. And there's also a Q stack. There's a bid stack between 55 and my entry, 55.75, the 84.66. So 102 trades, 147 trades, and then we come down. Sellers try to hit it lower, 56.25 on the inside prints, only one trades. Then 56.50 sticks, which is higher. So buyers are in control. And then an aggressive buyer trades, 28, 56.75. But then 15.57, there's a 94. So they're fighting now, and we thicken up on the ask, meaning sellers want to push it lower after the large order was executed. But the question is the Q on the ask going to stack in favor, or are buyers going to hit it again? And then the Q, and then it begins to empty. So it looks like spoofed size, or at least part of it was. 75 trades, and we move it higher. And you can tell that 56.50, 56.25 was the low because the tape dries up. Whereas here, there's strong initiative from buyers. I see it thickening up after I get in at the highs. 18 trades, which is great for me. I agree with the trade so far. And then the Q stacks. Could be a spoof. And then it lightens up. That's good again. So far the trade's in my favor. And we hit it again. I think, okay, the trade's won. I agree with it. I agree with this trade so far, even though I lost it. Everything about this trade I agree with. And then the ask thickens up and nobody wants to hit it. So the prudent decision might be to just take the tick loss here, or to just take the tick win at 57, because we sat on it and now we're sitting on the ask, and then we aggressively move lower off of sitting on the ask. What I mean by sitting on the ask is we came from 57.50 to 25, so we moved lower, sitting on the ask. That's not how you're supposed to use the terminology, sitting on the ask, but. And then there's 50, and I'm holding and watching these orders in the Q68 and 45, hoping they'll defend me. Quite, quite literally hoping. And then aggressive sellers trade through it. And the Q slowly lets up. It looks like it could reverse here because there's last on the inside prints. And then sellers show up again and drive it lower. This sort of. I place an unnecessarily prudent stop here because I'm scared, I think. That order empties. This is a punt. I don't have any order flow intuition here. I'm doing it because I'm bored, and it probably blows me out here because I'm asking for it. Yeah, there's selling there. Or I win. It was also the value area high, so it was a. I don't agree with the flow at all. The position on the profile I do. That 56 evens, thicker part of the distribution, but that's it. Okay.